Hey guys, it's Heather from H&P Artistry here, and I am making a Magnolia scented fragrance. This is a goat's milk soap. It has olive oil, which is really great for your skin, coconut oil, which is really cleansing and causes bubbles in the soap, lard, which is really good for your skin. It also causes a really hard bar of soap, castor oil, sunflower oil, sweet almond oil, and avocado oil, all of which are really great for your skin. I am going to color it with the base a pink, and then I'm going to do a mica drizzle design on top in a darker shade of pink, a white, and a green to kind of give that magnolia abstract design. In my lye water, I have salt and sodium lactate, which is a vegetable salt that hardens the bar and helps it to be removed from its mold. The goat's milk and kaolin clay. The kaolin clay is already mixed into my mix. The kaolin clay holds on to the fragrance really well. It also adds a nice slip to the bar if you want to use it to shave your legs. The goat's milk adds a nice creaminess to the soap. It makes it a very rich, lathered soap, and it's also nourishing for the skin. Now I'm just mixing my lye water, and you'll see as I pour the lye water in, the lye and oils, as they begin to mix together, will change color, and that's the beginning of the saponification process. When I put the mixer in, you will actually see that color change from the oil color into a more creamy color. And make sure I get all of that salt into my mix. It's 1.5 teaspoons. And let's go ahead and begin the mixing process. I just want to barely get it emulsified, which is mixing the oils and the lye lightly. Okay, next up is to add in the cream. I'm going to add my fragrance in at the very end. When you use a floral fragrance, it tends to change up the structure of the soap. It can make it move extremely fast, or it can make it do something called ricing, which means that the oils begin to react and ball up, and it takes a little bit more mixing to get them evenly dispersed. And I'm going to go ahead and add in my colorant. This is a beautiful amaranth pink, which is a light, lovely pink color. And I'm just mixing it with my coffee frother here. This is the best thing for mixing micas in oils. I want to make sure I get every bit of that pink out. And it is mixed with olive oil from my base oils. And mica pigments can be formed naturally or what they call next to nature, which means that it can be made in a laboratory, but using a very similar process to nature. The mica itself is milled down very fine, and then pigments, titanium dioxide, and other colorants are added to that mica to form a colorant. And let's blend that together before we add in our fragrance oil. And it's creating a beautiful pale pink color. Okay, now I'm going to mix in my fragrance oil. I want to get every bit of it out. And I'm going to use my spatula at first just to see the reaction. I don't want to overly thicken my trace, which is what happens when you lift and it leaves a lip on top of the soap batter. And I'm going to give it one good mix with the emulsion blender, but I don't want to mix too much because it's already quite thick. And as I've said, we don't want to over blend it. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, now let's hand mix it one more time. I'm going to add a tiny, tiny bit of a brighter pink. Just a little bit, just to give it a little more of a pink hue because the fragrance oil itself has a yellow tinge. So I want to bring it back to a pink. There we go. When making soap from scratch and by hand, it's good to do it in these size batches and to be able to work with your colorants to get exactly what you want in your mix. And this is mixed really well. The fragrance oil has performed lovely. And I'm going to go grab our mold. Clean off my space. Want to make sure it's good and in frame for you guys. And we can pour our batter in. Okay, now I'm going to spread it out, make sure I'm filling in all the edges and corners. And then I will shake it down a bit just to make sure there are no air bubbles. And if you look, I don't know if you guys can see, but the little air bubbles are coming up to the top. Okay, and I'm going to add just a little bit more batter because I want it filled all the way to the top. And I want it as level as I can get it. This is a lovely, lovely Magnolia fragrance, and it smells very genuine, and it smells much more floral than it does perfume. And we just smooth it out. And once it's fully smoothed out, I can then clean up my edges. And I will turn it to make sure that this side is just as even as the other side. There we go. Now that's lovely. I'm going to clean off my edges, and then I will shake it down one more time. And then I can get to the beauty of adding the color to the top, which is one of my favorite parts of making soap. My table is just a tiny bit uneven, so I add popsicle sticks to the corners of the back to add and make it perfectly level. Perfect. Now my next step is to get a toothpick so that I can swirl in my designs. And I'm going to take a popsicle stick and I'm going to carefully glide it across the top to get it as smooth as possible. It definitely will not be perfect because of the texture of the soap itself, but it will get it nice and smooth. Pulling my gloves as tight as possible so that the fingers do not slide into the top. And there we go. Perfectly even. Now I'm going to mix my colors one more time. I have a beautiful raspberry red pink color. And a martini olive green. And I have just a little bit of titanium dioxide. I'm shaking it up really well. And I will mix it as well. Okay. Now the first step is the titanium dioxide. And I'm just going to do some swirls and zigzags because I want to make sure that there's white in every bar. Okay. Then I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm going to lightly swirl through the white. Don't want to do a lot of swirls just yet because I'm going to add other colors. Okay, next up is my pink, and it's a very pretty pink color, and I'm just going to do little spots of that all over the top. Each mica is mixed with either olive oil or sweet almond oil. From the actual batch itself. So we're not adding an overly large amount of oils and super fatting the soap too much. And I do definitely want some of the pink to mix into the white because we want that lovely fade of color that you get when you see magnolia blossoms. Now we're going to take our toothpick again and we're going to swirl in circular motions. And make sure that I am hitting every spot so that nothing is missed. This is also adding a really beautiful texture to the top of the soap. And it's making sure that all of the colors are blending and that there are no spots that don't have a mixture of the colors. And a little bit more white here. And you can see some of that pink that's beginning to form, that's a lighter shade of pink. As we go through, now I'm going to use a different toothpick for the next part. And I'm going to take my martini green, and I'm going to use much, much less of that than anything else, because I just want it to have the vibe of leaves. But I want to make sure there's green that lands in every bar. And I'll take a different toothpick, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And what happens as the soap saponifies, it absorbs the oil from the colorant and it becomes part of the soap. And I'm making sure there are no sharp edges anywhere in the soap. No super straight lines. I want everything to have a beautiful swirly appeal. I'm going to add just a little bit more green in a few places, and then we'll be ready. I definitely want green on the edges. All right, that looks perfect, and we will be back. It takes anywhere between 24 hours and 3 days for it to be ready to come out of the mold. Once it's ready to come out of the mold, we'll be back with the cutting. So I'll see you then. Hey guys, it's Heather from H&P Artistry here to show you the cutting of the Magnolia soap for Sam Davis home. Just wanted to give you a view of the whole block and show you how beautiful those colors turned out. I'm very excited to cut this soap. Okay guys, I have cut lengthways of the soaps, and now I've cleaned up my sides, and now I'm going to cut each individual bar. And I've said before, you've got to be really careful when cutting the bars because you want to make sure, and of course I just stabbed that one, you want to make sure that you get nice smooth edges. And the beauty of fresh soap, because it's not cured, it's soft, so if you have any little cracks, any little movements, you can fix them and they will saponify together just like new. So here's this bar. Okay, that is a perfect bar of soap. The soaps right now are around 6.5 ounces. They will shrink as they cure to anywhere between 4 to 5 ounces. And I clean my knife between each row just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Everything has been soaked in a bleach water solution and then use 99% alcohol to clean and sanitize. Make sure all of my edges are nice and clean. Oops. Making sure all of my edges are nice and smooth and solid. These really are genuinely lovely soaps. And the colors turned out exactly the way I wanted, in a nice abstract floral colors. And the fragrance is just truly lovely. Clean this off. As I said before, it is not overly perfumey. It is not a fake smell. If anyone's ever had like lab created fragrances before, sometimes they do have, you can tell that they're lab created. These are not that. They smell actually like the flower. And they are very, very lovely. smooth my edges, make sure it's nice and clean. And there you have it, you guys. This is the Magnolia soap for Sam Davis Home. This is Heather from H&P Artistry wishing you luck, love, and a really great day. Bye, guys.